Good afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon. Um, yeah, this video is called Our Story versus His Story. Now, I was supposed to do this a couple of days ago, but because of there's just a lot of shifts. There's a lot of stuff going on, and so just to give me an idea what it was meant, they gave me some analogies so I could piece it all together because it seemed like there's a lot of stuff. So, our story versus his story. First of all, the analogy that they gave me is going to sound kind of weird, but after I understood it, it kind of made sense. So, a lot of people understand who frenemies are and people that that you've trusted or you've had in your space, and these particular people would take something about you, whether some truth about you, and wrap it up in their own version in order to give it to other people so they will see you in another light. In order for them for it to taint your image, to taint your character, to tarnish your character. So there is an element of truth in there. No matter how small it is, there is a piece of truth in some of the things that they're saying, because apparently they know you. But then as they wrap it up in their falsehoods and their lies and the way that they want you to be shown, this is how you get the character assassination. So when they showed me that analogy, I was like, okay, so what's that got to do with our story versus his story? I said, well, back in the day, the truth is, they knew who we are as a people, as a race of whatever you want to call it, spirituality. They understood our spirituality. They understood that it worked. We had a depth of knowledge that they wasn't understanding. So there was a truth in what they say, but what they did is they wrapped it up in the falsehoods, making it look like it's witchcraft, where it's black magic, or it's just the names that they call it, voodoo and things like that. They don't understand what it means, even though they have spiritual positive meanings, but because they've wrapped it up in such a way in order for the story to tarnish our character, to tarnish our reputations, to tarnish us in a way that the media, the movies, we've been portrayed in such bad lights. And this has been going on for the longest time, for years, years and years. So when they showed me that as how frenemies deal with you, or the way that you've been dealt with as frenemies, is the same way it's been dealt with in regards to our story, our way of life. And they're saying it's now because of what's going on with this pandemic or whatever you call it. In fact, just the situation of life right now, we have an opportunity to tell our story. To tell our story in a way that it's never been told before. To tell our story with the truth of who we are, what our spirits are about, what our ways of lives are about. We have an opportunity to tell our story in a way that it's never been told. Not only to tell it, to show it, because we live it. When you live with the ancestors and the Orisha and the Lua or the Mami Waters, it is a way of life. It's what you think, it's what you breathe, it's the way you speak, it's what you teach. So we have an opportunity to teach the masses, the world, about who we are on a major collective. So, but because of the dynamics is what's going on, as you see, even amongst ourselves, they're still arguing, they're still fussing, and it's not what it's about. Today, when going into my meditation today, because like I say, I ask every day, what can I do? How can I help, assist, or shift this planet with love? How can I do that? And in my meditation today, I was crying, and I just felt the emotion to cry continuously. And I was like, this is not mine. I don't feel, things are going on in my life, yeah. But to sit and cry, or to sit in meditation and feel like I wanted to cry, I didn't understand it. But what they were showing me, what I was feeling, it was the collective energy of our ancestors or our people, the spirits were crying because of where we're at and what we're dealing with and what we're dealing with, period. The lack of unity in all these different ways of life, the lack of unity, where, as I said, there's many paths, but there's one truth. So no matter how you get there, the truth is, everything goes on within. We are all divine sparks of source. We are all have the creator within us, every single one of us, because if not, we won't be here. So understanding that, it was like, because of the fighting that we're doing amongst ourselves, that's where the no unity is coming in. Now, I'd said to you on one of my last videos, they're looking for unity, for us to come as a collective, to come together and work together. It doesn't mean we have to sit at a table and eat with each other. It's just saying that we have a focus, we have an intent, which is to create a better life for ourselves, to create a better world for ourselves, to tell our story in a way that it's never been told. And some of the things that I'm seeing, the fussing and fighting that's going on between us, it is crazy. And one of the things that they brought to me today, and it has me to my heart, they're talking about, you have a Yoruba person and a Akan person, fell in love, got married, had a baby. So the Yoruba person's way of life supersedes the Akan person's way of life, or do they both instill the knowledge and wisdom that they have into this child? That's what happens. So if you look back all these hundreds of years and all the slaves and all the people that was taken from Africa and going all over the world and connecting with all different kinds of people, you have so many spirits and so much information, so much wisdom coming from all different places that is brought into one singular person or different people. I know just from observation, you've had people that have gone through divination and their Indian ancestors have come up and said, no, you're not moving forward until you honor us. You know what I mean? Yeah, I understand you have African ancestry, but the Native Americans that was here, we're here and we are part of this collective. So you have to honor us before you can move forward. Because there's times when you have many spirits, people will go into saying that they want to be part of the Orisha community and get initiated, but the spirits in their lineage that may be, maybe Palo, and they start speaking out and say, nah, you got to honor us first. I don't mind you doing all this, but you have to honor us too, because we are a part of who you are. So when you look at it like that, is there any mistakes? Are there mistakes in regards to who we are? They took me to a space, and this part is all today. They took me in a space of, you got a black man and a white woman had a child. Is this child a mistake? Now, even if this child that's mixed two races, they have white ancestry and they have black ancestry. Do they choose which one that they want to accept, or do they love them both? Can somebody who's of mixed race look at their mother and say, even though that they identify with being black and the way that they walk, they talk, their whole thing, can they look at their mother's side of the family and say, because I acknowledge myself as being black, I'm not dealing with y'all? They can't. It's impossible. And so they show me all this to say, these are the stuff that we're worrying about. These are the things that we're arguing and fussing about that keeps us separate. This is the stuff that we're arguing about that keeps us separate in a way. Because the fighting's got to stop. The arguing's got to stop. The unity's got to come back, because that's what's keeping us stuck in a way that we can't move forward. When Baba Fakayode did the in OurStory last week, and he did his prayers, he talked about, this is not just for the Ifa community, this is for all African spiritualities everywhere. And he prayed that we come together and we work this out. This stuff that they're lying about, the corona and this and all the stuff that they're lying about, we need to come together and make sure that we don't suffer from what they're trying to put us through. Because we already know the lies are already there. The lies, they continue to lie. They've been lying for the longest time. They've not stopped lying. You know what I mean? So if you think that, the time is not going to come where they're going to say, in order for you to go to work to earn a paycheck, you got to take this vaccine, or you got to take this chip. Those things are coming. But the way that they showed me again was with, and they showed me this like a Star Trek movie. You know when you see like a fleet of ships coming in, right? They decided they showed a fleet of ships coming in, and the people of this particular planet or whatever decided that they was not having it, and so together collectively they fought back and they said so much stuff. They said so much stuff to that fleet realized, we can't handle this. We got to retreat. The retreat is basically what these collective people that are trying to keep us dumbed down will end up doing if we come together. No matter what spirituality we deal with, no matter what force we think of, we working together, we stay in unity. They cannot win. They cannot bamboozle everybody to say that we got to partake of everything that they want us to do. So they also told me that I should talk about my story, because regardless of what, we all have a bit of everything within us. I'm born in England to Nigerian parents, and my journey took me through Nuwapu. Nuwapu is from when I was in London, meeting up at Tottenham Seven Sisters. Is it Seven Sister Station or Tottenham Station? Anyway, Idris, Khalil, Kidar, they was propagating on the side, and they spoke to me, and over the years talked. That brought me to America. Coming to America, meeting up with a lot of different Nawapians. One of my good friends, Yamari, she talked to me about Chief Aluko, and I got a reading from him. I started going over there. He was my first Oluwa, and he gave me my hand of Ifa. In my hand of Ifa said that I came back to reclaim the throne. Hadn't had no clue what that was about. And still, as a Nawapian, married an American man, had 3 children. And in the midst of that, I connected with those from Oyotunji. Those from Oyotunji, Tinubu, she initiated 2 of my children, Oshun and Ogun. And I got many Orishas from her. My Orisha, Yemoja. See, when I got my hand of Ifa, they said my head was Orumala. And my head was Orumala. Whoever put the sour face or whatever is irrelevant. This is my story. I'm talking about my story, okay? Yeah, so anyway, even though my head is Orumala, there's the divinity that is walking with me. Yemoja was coming very close. So anyway, I'd received Yemoja from Tinubu, and I thought, because of my learning from here, this was even before I got connected to even more stuff in Nigeria. My learning from here taught that, at first I was taught that, you go to Orisha, then you go to Ifa. That was the succession, and that was like, okay. But my head is Orumla, so I was like, okay. So I kind of played down that space of me being a child of Orumla, and I thought, okay, I'm going to go the journey of Yemoja. But Yemoja spoke. Yemoja said no. In her space, and I understand, yes, I am Oba Logbo Falua Ifashade Olasunde Egbegemi. But yeah, when Tinubu divined for me with Yemoja, she said, Yemoja said, you're a queen in your own right. Your kingdom is coming, and if it's not right, you're not going to whatever you're going into, if it's not right, it's not going to happen. So I was like, okay. She said, don't come to me, you go straight to Ifa. Ifa is what's going to save you. Ifa is going to save you from all the juju, all the negative stuff that's coming at you, that people are trying to destroy you. It's Ifa that's going to save you. And right hand to Olodumare, that's my journey. This was in the November. By the April of 2011, I was in Nigeria, getting initiated to Ifa with my mother. And true say, the message that Yemoja gave me, don't come to me. Go to Ifa. Ifa is what's going to save you. Now, in the fact that I went to Ifa, and in the midst of that, my Yemoja, now because my Yemoja was birthed here, you've got a lot of people saying, African Orisha work better than the Orisha from here. Okay, my Yemoja spoke to me. I must give you this one. I was about to get my divorce. And I was told, through divination said to me that my ex-husband at the time was going to give me problems. And I went to Yemoja and I said, look, I just want him to sign the papers so I can just move on and just keep the peace. I just need this space. Now, if anybody knows who my ex-husband is, they know that he's got a mouth for days and he don't shut up. He's all right now. I mean, we cooled down. But when we went to the I went to meet him in Macomb because I had to let him have the children for, I can't remember what holiday it was, but he was having the children for a while. And so I met up with him at the lawyers to sign the papers. My children was like, what's wrong with Ab? When I say he was a mute, didn't say a word, just did what he had to do, just signed what he had to sign, let them notarize it. I took the papers, gave him the children, and I was gone. I sat in the car afterwards and I was like, oh my goodness. I asked to not have any problems with my ex-husband at the time. Just let me do the paperwork and keep it moving. And that's what they did. So I was like, yo, thank you. So I went about my business to the point where when I went to Nigeria to get initiated, he came to Atlanta to stay with my children while I was in Nigeria with my mum getting initiated. So that was part of my journey. So to say that I've been through many parts, many different avenues to get to being who I am, and I've still got further to go. And I say all this to say, if I ignore one facet of me, I wouldn't be me. I wouldn't be my authentic self. The direction I came when coming through Nuwapu, if I ignore that side, I would not be me. If I ignore the side that I walked through with from Oyotunji and all the things that I learned in that space, I wouldn't be me. Because I got people in Oshogbo. My sister got initiated with Baba Araba Eyeli Buiban. So she's got a plethora of God brothers and sisters. That's my sister. I have Orisha that was given to me from Oshogbo. I have my other spiritual family that I was initiated to Oshun and Egbe and did my coronation in Ibadan. These are my family. This is all my family. This is all who I am. If I ignore one part of that, one aspect of that, I would never be my authentic self. And so going back to the story about our story versus his story, if you can go, it's almost like in the space of the slavery part, we know that there was people that was raped and have given birth to children in that space. So for many years, you have a lot of people that had a lot of self-hatred because they hate for the slave master and the things that they did. And that is totally understood. Yet, in this day and time, are you supposed to hate who you are based on who your people were? No. You gotta know who you are and love you for who you are. Whether you have white in you, whether you have black in you, whether you have Asian in you, whether you have Indian in you, whether you have whatever, you gotta love who you are from the point that you are. There is so many differences that we could go on for years separate with all these differences, or we can just learn to love who we are. And this is the other thing. In this this space of learning about who I am or who people are, there are people that coming to your world, especially as spiritual practitioners, Ifa practitioners, or Orisha practitioners, you're going to come across clients that have many different cultures within them, many different spirits within them. And if you don't know how to handle that, what do? Do you leave them stuck, going crazy because these spirits have given them information and given them knowledge and they don't know how to deal with it? Or do you understand that, you know what? I don't know. Bearing in mind, there's a sister, if she's watching this, she probably understands what I'm talking about. I think she had Palo spirits. There was a lot of spirits that would mount her a lot. But in the Orisha community at that time was not understanding that that's where she needed to go. But yet, if people are understanding this and we're all working together, we're all working as a collective because spirit is spirit, our ancestors are one. Hey, I have a child here that needs assistance with these spirits. Can you help her? I'll give you another incident. There was a brother that I met just by chance being at somebody else's house. And he said, I think I know you. I think we're friends on Facebook. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I looked on Facebook, we connected, see. He has a beautiful scenery in his home. I mean, beautiful. There's just greenery all over. And because of my knowledge of knowing who he was, I connected him to somebody now that I don't deal with that spirituality because it's not a part of my lineage, but I've got another story to tell you about that. Connected him with somebody else. They've got a brilliant relationship right now that anything she needs dealing with that spirituality, she can go to him and he helps her out. They're like family that they hadn't had for a long time. I was told in one divination that, Palo is not a part of my lineage, so to speak, yet. You know, when you're dealing with spirits is a whole different ballgame. I was told that I had a Palo spirit that works with me, and I was like, huh? I understand. But they said back in the day, back in the day in my ancestry, there was a particular being that worked with my ancestors. And, you know, whatever energy that they utilized, they would support my ancestors. And because I'm a part of that collective, they are here to support me. So whenever I'm getting any kind of negativity from that energy lets me know. Whether it's through dreams, whether it's through divination, whether it's through somebody else having dreams, I will always find out when somebody's doing something. So then what do? Make a bar, keep it moving. I can't stop what other people are doing, but I can control how I respond to what is going on around me. So again, going back to our story versus their story, we got to start telling our stories. We got to tell our stories about what makes us up. We are not one. We're not from one space. We are from a collective of spaces. So that means all this information that's coming from everywhere is who we are. I can't separate myself. I do tarot. I was doing tarot before I knew anything about Orisha. When I was in England, me and Jenny King, hey baby, we was getting tarot readings. That was something, you know, it's that divination space, that space of understanding or getting knowledge from different places to understand where you're going. Getting my palm read. I got my palm read when I was like 13, and I remember that some of the things that woman told me when I was 13, it still happened. You know what I mean? Or they took place. So, like I said, all these things, I'm a Reiki master. I'm an Egungun priest. Now, I got my Egungun through I say, Oyotunji. Does that mean, because I got it through Oyotunji, does that mean, and I am, I'm understanding my lineage is Nigerian, and I'm learning more about my Nigerian and my lineage ways. Do I ignore that space? Does that stop me from connecting with spirit? Hell no. I connect to ancestors very, very well. When I do readings and there people are telling me stuff about these people, I'm telling them about themselves, and I'm like, yo, don't shoot a messenger. I'm telling you what they're giving me to let you know so you can understand about yourself, okay? So that I'm not separating myself because of where I've come from. This is me. This is what's made me up. I have, like I said, I have family in Ibadan. I have family in Oshogbo. I have family in America. I have family in Cuba. I have family in Mexico. I got people that are in that are Mexican that love me like as if I was one of them, and have supported me in ways that I don't even know how I would be able to pay them back. Okay? See, I'm getting emotional now because it's pissing me off. And this is the energy that the spirits were talking about earlier on. We got to stop this. We got to stop the fine. We got to stop this stupidness. Because no matter where we come from, all of that makes us who we are. We can't change that fact that we come from all these different places. You can't separate the fact that you have white blood in you. You can't separate the fact that you have Indian blood in you. You have to own you. You can't separate the fact. Prime example. Here we have UNIOV. Ifa, United Nation of Ifa, Vodun, Orisha. If I'm missing it out, I'm sorry. You know, I'm just trying to get the message understood. This came about because, you know, you have so many people that have so many different spirits and they all need to be honored. Why can't you honor them? Because in that one person, this one person has Vodun in their spirits. This other one person that has Ifa and the Orisha American in their connection. Why not honor it all? Do we condemn the Ifa priests that initiate those of different races from Venezuela or Cuba? If you understand now, the way of Lukumi or Santeria is still thriving. Yet there are people that want to go to Africa and get initiated. Does that stop Lukumi or does that stop Santeria? No. It just is part of the story. It's just part of their collective. If you've been to Nigeria, if you've had any Orisha or anything, that's a part of who you are. You can't take that back. The ashe that was given to you was part of that space. You can't take that back no matter how far back you go. Even those who are initiated here or got Orisha here or got initiated here, that ashe and that information came from back there. They talked to me about knowledge and they said to me, understand, knowledge can be constructive and destructive. But wisdom allows you to know the difference and allows you to know how you maneuver through it. It's ego that misses the point of the wisdom and takes it upon itself to take it into a powerful space and want to control others. And that's the problem that we're having. We're having too many people just want to control people and not allow the knowledge to give them the wisdom in order to teach and each one teach one and each one love one. Like I said, I ask every day, how do we change the planet with love? There's no way we can do it without it. That's the driving force of the universe and it is in all of us. But if we keep seeing our differences I learned yesterday, just from a post, that Isheshe is traditional, meaning anything traditional. There was another term and I didn't get that piece. I see it, but I can't remember how to say it. But it's all traditional spirituality. So whether it is the way from Africa or way Lukumi or way Santeria or way Kondoble, it's all Isheshe because it's all traditional spiritualities. Yet there is a name that they have for the connection to Africa and the way that they do it. And I suppose the way that they call it here is different. Yet it's all traditional. But if we're going to keep fighting about, oh, my way is better than your way, there is no unity. And you know what? This is what they want. Those small spaces of those powers that keep everything controlled, they want us to keep fighting amongst ourselves. They want us to keep in that space because as long as we're fighting, we're not seeing what they're doing. We're not seeing them coming with their agenda and to destroying us all. We're not going to see it. But as long as we stand together, we stay together, we support each other, we look at each other and say, even though I don't understand what you're doing, I honor what you do because you know what? Honoring you is honoring me. Remember, we're one. We have to get to understand that. We have to totally understand that we are one. We've moved so far away from the divine that we're seeing our differences as totally separate. And it's not. It's just another way of an expression of the divine wants to express themselves. That's what we are. And we've been given that beauty, that right, that privilege to express ourselves in any way that we want to. And we need to appreciate that as a whole, not look at it as like it's a bad thing. Because, like I said, knowledge is, knowledge applied is wisdom. If, I could say, there was a lady that I suffered from candida for a while, and there was a brother that got me in touch with his auntie, and she was a Christian. And she said to me, if you understand what candida is, this is God's way of letting you know that if you don't change how you eat and how you eat your eating habits, this is the next step. You could be like cancer or diabetes or something like that. So she said, this is God's protection for you to let you know that you're on a direction that you need to shift, you need to change. And this is a Christian woman. Did I ignore what she said because she's Christian? No. Because what she said applied to what I was going through. You know what I mean? And so I say this to say, I have another friend. She's a child of Oya. She's a parallel priest. She's a very powerful parallel priest at that. She owns who she is in her right. Mbele, you know what I'm talking about. She owns who she is. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. She owns herself and she owns her speech. She owns her talk. She owns what she teaches. That's who we're always supposed to be. Does she eliminate the side that because she's a parallel priest, does she eliminate the side of Orisha? No. This is who she is. We can't go back to the spaces of us being just one. We are too intertwined to keep separate. Like I said, you're white here, you're black there. You are the people that are of mixed races are here, and they're not a mistake. To look at them as a mistake is to look at every other person that that came through the line of slavery, that have got so many different cultures that are wrapped in them because of the separateness, is to look at them as a mistake. That what their ancestry went through, all the all the atrocities that they went through. Because you're standing here, because you're alive, and because you're breathing, and because you're talking, you have an opportunity to tell a story. Are you a mistake? No. Even, prime example again, Ian Ifaz, in Ifa, we was taught in the Cuban tradition, they don't acknowledge Ian Ifaz, or they don't see that's true, because they see it as a very male-dominated space. Does Ifa make mistakes? No. I'm not a mistake. I don't care what anybody says. I'm not a mistake. Just because the way I live or the way I choose to think about things or the way I process stuff is not a mistake. I can't say the same for you. Now, if I've got information that's incorrect, please enlighten me and give me some information that can support me, that can enlighten me some more, that I can get it right. I think, what's her name? Our Shade said something, I saw a post yesterday saying that, she stand corrected. If she made a mistake, correct her and keep it moving. That's what knowledge is about. There's so much knowledge here. It's like with Pops. Pops put all that information together. You've got people saying that he plagiarized this and plagiarized that, and now I'm throwing it all away, throwing it out with the bathwater. If I didn't get all that information the way I did, I would not be here now. I would have not made the choice to come to America, to connect to this. I can stand back now, look at my life and see how my ancestors have guided me in so many different avenues to get to who I am today. And so I cannot say, if Pops didn't bring all that information together, would have I got it in all these different books? No. So again, is there a mistake? No. We have so much spiritual knowledge that's trying to come down through people. And it's coming from all different sources, but you've got to be ready to open up. You've got to be ready to receive it. And as long as we're fighting amongst ourselves about this petty stuff, about, my way of life is better than your way of life, and what you know and what I know, and your pot is this and my pot is that. If we're arguing about that dumb shit, excuse my language, I have a potty mouth and I've been working on it. But if we're still arguing about that, we might as well call it a day. Because those people that are making all these decisions that we don't have an option of, they're going to make sure that you stay blind, stay dumb, deaf, dumb, and blind. Deaf, dumb, and blind. They make you stay like that so they can implement what they want to implement. And the only way that we can not allow that to happen is if we come together. And it doesn't matter, man, woman, child, black, white, don't matter whatever it is you are, we got to come together with a thought process that we can't allow this to happen. So I said, our story versus his story. We have lived his story for generations, and his story is still playing out now. Even with the knowledge that we have, even with the wisdom that we have, even with the spiritualities that we have, his story is still taking precedence over our own. And that's got to stop. We've got to tell our story, even in the movies. You see, we've got, what's his name now? That dude, what's his name? He's got a thing down south in Atlanta. What's his name? Medea, that geezer. He's got this big place. Let's start telling our stories. Let's start telling our stories about who we are. Is it Masa Musa, the richest man on the earth? Let's start telling our stories. Let's telling our stories about who we are. Let's tell our story. We have an opportunity to tell our story. So when in many years to come, they will start looking back and say, I don't know how they did it, but look, this is what we're living now. We're living the products of what they did back then. When 2020 happened and all that stuff happened and we got restricted to being in our own spot, we got thinking about what we're doing and we changed it. We didn't allow them to change us. We changed it. In fact, even if Mother Nature did come in and say, that's the thing. What's it called? Pain. Pain is your body's way of letting you know there's something wrong. And it's trying to gear you in another direction. Okay? So as a collective, we're all going through some pains that we've got to realize we're going in the wrong direction. We've got to bring our focus back to healing ourselves and healing ourselves in a way that it has to come from love. We can't go in the direction. It's impossible. We can't do it. We've got to tell our story the way it is and of who we are, which is being proud of who we are. And that's the collective of everything that has taken, the sum total of that's brought us to who we are today. I am who I am because of what I went through. And those spaces that I went through is a big part of who I am. And I can't ignore that part to please somebody over here because, can't do it. It is me. And I'm thankful for every experience that I've had with these people that I've been through to make me who I am, because that's knowledge. I gained a lot of knowledge from every space that I went through. My first Olua, through Nuwapu, through Oyotunji, through Oshobo, through Ibadan, even through, even through people that are with the Mami Waters, even the Lua, even with Paolo, with their spirits, with their knowledge, their wisdom. People from Cuba that have divined and gave me information. I have all this information that's been given to me, is made me who I am. And I'm not going to separate that to make anybody happy. That's stupid. That's ignorant. It's a day and time that we're supposed to be our authentic self, and our authentic self is owning who we are as is, which is a collection of everything that has made us who we are. Just because I am not of Caucasian doesn't mean I'm not... I just saw a little spider. I don't like spiders. Look at me, I'm still looking to see where it's going. It's gone out the door. But it's not like I've not received or not benefited from wisdom coming from there. Native Americans, I've gained a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge from those there. Paolo, Lukumi, Santeria, Vodun. I've experienced so much. And I'm just saying that this is who we are. We can't argue about the dumb stuff anymore. We can't argue and think that we can move forward and better the community, better the world with all this separateness. That's got to stop. I don't know how much more I can say the same thing, but as long as they keep giving me this to say, I'm gonna keep saying it. We got to change the vibration of this planet with love. And if it means I love me in my entirety, that means I love everything that I went through to make me who I am. Now, there's people that that have been a part of my collective that are not safe, they're not kind of cool anymore. I love you regardless. Do I want to sit at the same table as you? Nah. I still want you to eat, just eat at your own table. But the fact of the matter is, we've got to do better than this. That video that I did before about us all coming together, I didn't understand it the way it came. But when it came, it was like, this is what we got to do. We have to work together. We have to become one. We have to be unified. If not, the way that we're going is, how did they put it again? The seed of love has a seed that will continue to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. The seed of negativity, however you want to play it, the seed of fear has within it its own, it's almost like the seed of its own undoing. So when you start to think negative, you can watch your own world fall apart with the seeds that you've grown from the space of negativity. And I say seed because, nothing can grow from negativity other than its own stuff. So when you start to produce things, that's why all these things are falling apart. That's why all these lies that's been coming up with in the media with the corona and how many people died and who it's affecting. And one time, it's not a black thing. And the next time, now it's a black thing. It's all lies. We already know there's been an agenda for many years to take down the population from this way to like here because they want to be able to control it. Which to control that is a space of fear again in itself, which again has the seed of its own undoing. And the reason why they have the seed of its own undoing is because we have the ability to think. We have the ability to go within ourselves and understand we have more power than all that, because there is no limits to where this information comes from. There's no limits to what we can do. There is no limits to what we can achieve. So with all of that, I feel like I've been talking for a long time. But with all of that, is letting us know we don't have to accept what the small people with all that money want to give us. So again, it's our choice. We can either sit there and shut up, or we can do something about it, which is working together and stop the fighting, stop the arguing, stop the fussing. You in your house, what are you fussing about? Who you worship, who you want to speak to, who you want to pray to is your business. I ain't got nothing to do with what you say in your house. As long as it's better in the collective. My prayers are not to harm anybody. It's as I said, it's to love all. I don't care if you've crossed me. And I know you know who you are if you've crossed me. I still love you, because if I hate you, I'm hating a part of me. No, I can't do that. I can't do that at all. And, shoot, somebody's trying to call me. I can't do that at all. So again, the space is our story versus his story. Our story is that we've got to tell our story. But our story has got to be authentic to who we are and what we're about. And to bring it together in unity. Because in bringing it together in unity, I'm telling you, we change the world. Love is that force and that power that changes the world. Hey, Tay. See, I went to school with him. How many years ago? We did business administration. Tay, how many years ago was that? We had so much joke. But you see, we're still connected. Ro, we're still connected. Even if it is Facebook, we're still connected. I don't forget those spaces because it's a part of who I am. You know what I mean? And that's all I'm saying is don't knock somebody else's way of life just because it's not the way you want to go. 15 years, Gordon Bennett. Oh my goodness, it's been a minute, innit? But yeah, don't knock it. Like I said, I'm going to stop now because I feel like I've been chatting for a minute. But yeah, I can see now why they had me crying all morning. And it took me this point to get to this point to be able to tell this, you know, to bring this up. And as long as they keep giving me information to talk about, I'm going to do it. And if it means it's the same stuff, I'm going to do it because, see, there's that spider again. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep giving this information because we have to come together. We can't make it out of here without it. So, you know, as long as we love one another, I love you. I love you, you love me. I don't even know the song, but you know what I'm saying. So I'm gonna keep it like that, and I'm gonna end it there because I know I can't share this to Instagram now because it's too bloody long. But hey, it's what we do. Okay, all right. Much love. Take care. Peace out.